Hola todos, bienvenidos de nuevo. Hello everyone and welcome back. If you are checking out this channel for the first time, thanks for stopping in. Hopefully you found it because YouTube recommended it to you. If you didn't, maybe it's because I sent you the link and you're a friend or family member. Either way, I appreciate you coming in. This channel is the FiveOHTengo, and my name is Scott. This is my channel dedicated to life at or after 50. In my first video, I talked about how I approached and celebrated turning 50. If you saw it, there was um, my, my trip to Las Vegas. There was Fleetwood Mac's Dreams, because, what's life after 50 if we let go of our dreams? So it was fun, and I had a few views on it, and I was pleased with that. Um, but for this video, I want to talk about something that's more fitting for our lifestyle, something that's impacted our generation, and what we can do to improve upon that. And that subject is sugar and its impact, how we were introduced to it, and it's become a part of us, Gen X, of our lives. So I hope you'll hang out and we'll have a discussion on sugar, how it was introduced to us, how we've continued to eat it, and even more importantly, how it has affected us as we moved into these later stages of our lives. The things that we thought were true, and now the things that we know are true, and what we can do about it so we can really embrace these middle-aged and beyond years and get the most that life has to offer. I thought it was really important that we talk about sugar and sugar addiction. Hence the name. If you checked out the thumbnail that brought you here, we are prisoners of Azucar. Azucar in Spanish is sugar. And our generation has been imprisoned by that. And that imprisonment is based on the chains of our long term health because we've exposed ourselves to excess sugar consumption for most of our lives. Now, what I wanted to do was this was the idea that I had. I really wanted to do Metallica's Master of Puppets. Right? You get it. Master of Puppets is about addiction. However, this is YouTube, and rightly so, copyright issues. I did not, was not able to find copyrighted music for Metallica. So I had to go back to the drawing board, and just like for week one, I used Dreams. I had to go and find a service that I could get licensed music, and for that I use licked.com. So I had to go back to Licked and look around, and I knew I wanted to stay in that metal mindset, right? I wanted to stick with Metallica because Master of Puppets, that hard guitar riff coming in, and right away, it's one of my favorite songs to listen to when I'm lifting. And so I started digging around and thinking, and I settled on Iron Maiden. And when I chose Iron Maiden, I went with Run for the Hills because now that we know what sugar is and what it does to us from long-term over consumption, we should all be running for the hills. Now, Run for the Hills was not obviously about addiction of any kind. Actually, when I did a little research on Run for the Hills, Iron Maiden wrote it about the westward expansion and colonization in the United States, and Run for the Hills was the natives running, for their existence. But when I really kind of dug into it and thought about it, I thought, yeah, it's got that great riff. Um, it's got a great chorus. Run to the hills, run for your lives. It's fantastic. So we have Prisoner of Azucar, right? El Carcel, the jail, de Azucar, the jail or the prison of sugar. And we've got that banger in the background, right? More appropriately, we've got a headbanger in the background. Now, full disclosure, I've been a Metallica fan, not an OG Metallica fan. I didn't start really getting into Metallica until they came out with And Justice for All in One. I think that was 1990. And then I went back and really started listening to their other albums, such as Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning. But same thing with Iron Maiden. I didn't really start to appreciate their music until I got a little bit older and I rolled back and started listening to it. So, um, another cool little fact that has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about today. I was watching the movie Bull Durham the other weekend, and there's a scene where they're on the bus, and Nuke LaLoosh, who is Tim Robbins' character, is sitting there playing the guitar terribly and singing the wrong lyrics to a song. So I'm cracking up. Which, by the way, Bull Durham, one of my favorite movies from the '80s. I love Kevin Costner, and um, he made some of the best movies of that era. But the T-shirt that Tim Robbins' Nuke LaLoosh is wearing is Iron Maiden's Live After Death, which is where we got this Run to the Hills song. So, with that being said, hang out. Let's run to the hills. So, I hope you'll hang out a little bit. Let's find out about sugar, how it was introduced to us, how we've overconsumed it for most of our lives, and what we can do moving forward as we play out these golden years of our lives. Hang around.
In the 1980s, Nancy Reagan told us to just say no. We also had the Don't Be a Dragon Lady commercials. And all these PSAs were um, public health announcements, public service announcements to make us aware of the health risks of our behaviors. But none of these directed us or influenced us or educated us on the dangers that excess sugar could cause for us. In the 70s, sugar consumption rose exponentially from less than 1% in the early 70s to 42% by the year 2000. The major cause for that: high fructose corn syrup and sugar sweetened beverages. I mean, just think about our Saturday mornings, our Saturday morning routine. This, this image to the right, that's what we were told was part of a healthy breakfast. So these ads misled us into thinking that we were eating good food as long as we had all these other elements on our breakfast table. Sugary cereals that tied with the healthy foods made us think we were making good food decisions. But what it actually did was increase our prevalence of obesity and increased our risk for type 2 diabetes. Just take a look at this bar chart showing sugar consumption increase between 1990 and 2020. So in the 90s, we were teenagers and we weren't concerned about what we were eating. We wanted all the sugar and junk food we could get. But by 2020, you can see the rapid increase in obesity rates and other health related risks that go along with sugar consumption. So here you see diabetes significantly increased, cardiovascular disease risk, and then obesity is absolutely off the charts. And all of these things can be related to the amount of sugar we've been consuming for most of our lives.
As you can see here, as I rolled up on the age of 40, that's when my sugar problem started to arise. Just look at my triglycerides. This is when I recognized that I had a problem and I did not want to take medicine for the rest of my life if it was something that I could control. So, started to research what is a triglyceride and what can I do to take control of my health. And that's when I understood the significant role that sugar plays in triglyceride levels. But you can also see the downward trend. Now, my triglycerides, as you can also see, they run about 1 to 200 points above what is considered a normal range. But my doctor and I are in agreement. As long as it's not going up and as long as I keep doing the things that I'm doing, he's not overly concerned about it. So that's my story with why I started to break my habit, break my addiction to sugar. And one side note, that it's not really a side note, it's actually really important. Since I started this journey, since I broke my addiction to sugar, I cannot tell you the last time that I even took an antacid. It's been a decade at least since I've even had to take one. And I think that's significant. I think that tells me that I'm doing the right thing. And I think my body was telling me when I was eating all of those antacids that something's not right. Something's not right with your body, with my gut and my gut health. And I think if you decide that that's what's right for you, if you want to start monitoring how much sugar you're taking in, I wouldn't be surprised if you had similar results. Sugar, who knew? I mean, the American Dental Association knew. The one thing I think we can all agree on is when we were kids, we remember the cavity creeps because excess sugar consumption was going to rot our teeth out. Drinking too many sodas or sugar sweetened drinks was going to rot our teeth out. But we didn't really give a whole lot of thought to what the long term effects was going to be for our health. As I showed you in the statistics, our generation, those of us at 50, approaching, or have already surpassed it, we are dealing with more health related issues that can be directly related to the amount of sugar we've been consuming for most of our lives. We had never heard the word metabolic syndrome until recently, and that should tell us something. We now know that the amount of added sugars that we've been eating most of our lives has had and will continue to have a long-term negative impact on our lives. So let's address it, right? Let's dance our dance. Let's do our FiveOHTengo with the intention of living a healthier golden years. Iron Maiden said it best, run to the hills, at least for this video, as it pertains to how much sugar we're eating and we have eaten throughout our lifetimes. But it's not too late. We can make that change, and that's what this channel is about. Life at 50. So, if you are so inclined, give this video a like, or maybe follow the channel if this is content that you think you enjoy seeing more of. If you know somebody that you think would be interested in this content, please consider sharing. I plan on posting monthly. We'll see how that goes. As we've already found out, life keeps us busy. So I know what my next video is going to be. Can't wait for you to see it drop. That's all I've got for today's video. Again, give it a like, give it a follow, give it a share. And otherwise, we will see you next time. Thanks for coming by.